I am live. Oh my gosh. I pressed the button before I was ready. Hello, welcome. This is Chala Dinkoy, CEO and founder of The Repositioning Expert, here with another Tuesday Tea Time with Chala. It has been touch and go this summer. I have been so busy traveling. Last week, I was in Richmond, Virginia, holding an executive roundtable sponsored by my good friend and still sponsors after all these years, Capital One. The Diversity Summit happened last week, and they had a whole event where we kicked off with some CEOs of small businesses. And the number one complaint for these small businesses was, how do we get more corporate sales meetings with the buyers? So let me take a sip and get right in. So luckily, these CEOs felt like they could do pretty well once they were in. But the issue was, how do we get in more frequently, have more face time? How do we just get the first meeting? So over the years, my clients and I have worked with these small businesses and the founders and operators and CEOs of these small businesses to try to get them into these meetings. And I've done in the past multiple topics about this, but because it was so timely right after coming back from Richmond, where everybody was like, how do we get in, Chala? How do we get in? I had to put together this Tuesday Tea Time where I reshare with you some of the more creative ways that we get sales meetings with large corporations. Okay. So without, knowing someone on the inside, that's when it's really hard, right? Because everybody who was there to tell us about how they actually got a corporate client actually knew someone who, on the inside who worked there. Now, that's not always going to be possible, and that's not going to grow you to the rate that you want to grow. And that's where people are coming to companies like mine to teach them how to get in. Number one way that we get in is a handwritten letter or creative package. Sending contextual gifts is a really big thing. We've sent anything from Cutco knives, which are $350, to ask for the buyers to carve out a meeting for us, carve out time for a meeting for us, to we've done lawn signs, where we displayed the CEO's name. And so there was the surprise factor and the wow factor we've done. So these are the gimmicky stuff, but we've also done more strategic stuff where the message and what we send was aligned. So for example, the iconic glue bottle was to denote that a cleaning company's employees had 400 times more sticking power, meaning that they had 400 times the retention of their industry peers at this one industrial cleaning company. And so, the send was this iconic glue bottle to say, our people stick with us. And that was the door opener. So just creative ways to get the meeting. Number two is host a surprise pop-up event. So what I generally do is pop-up events are either, you can do lunch and learns. I do the executive roundtables. When there's nothing else going, if you can't speak at an event, if you can't exhibit it at an event, and if you can't do an executive roundtable at an event, I ask my my clients to actually have rent one of the top rooms and to invite their prospective clients and existing clients to come in for a sort of like an icebreaker before day zero of the registration. So just the night before. So these are pop-up events where you can hopefully showcase your talents, your, case studies and your wisdom. Or at worst, you're having FaceTime one-on-one with people, giving them a venue to be able to interact with you, but also with each other. And so they can do some peer networking. Now, the executive roundtables, which I learned from Angelique Brewers, who, did a coaching VIP day for me, she and I, worked on figuring out how to do the executive roundtables. I learned that from her, and it has been something that I teach and that I use really, really to get a lot of clients and to get a lot of meetings. So That's what I teach my clients as well, and they're using it to great success. Number 3 of creative ways to get a sales meeting with a corporate buyer is leverage charity. So this is like huge, because anybody who's on the board of anything is involved in a charity most of the time. And when you are on the same board, when you're actually helping them with that, because what do charities do? They're constantly asking for help. They're constantly asking for donations. They're asking for members. They're asking, right? And if you are in the position to help them, how amazing is it that you're meeting them through, both a do good and a be good, and it's good for everyone. So charity is huge. Some people's entire marketing plan exists around charities and being on the board of charities and meeting people through their circles. Number 4, offer industry exclusive insights or a customer report. So I love giving my prospects a reason to see me, which is giving them value around the pain that I know that they have. So what could that value look like? It could be insights. It could be their competitive insights. It could be trends. Now, I am retraining myself in AI, and these things are so incredibly at your fingertips and for mostly free or freemium offers of being able to pull all of the competitive top 10 competitors in the market. Why not put that into a report? You can pull what the competitors are doing in terms of their marketing and offer it to your prospects. You can pull things like consumer insights. So there's like Perplexity, where it's a website, AI based, where you can actually give them the most asked questions in their industry. There are so many AI tools. My mind is blown, by the way, to help generate more intelligence and value to help them sell better, where all you have to do is figure out where to find the data, which AI helps you do that, compile it together and present it to them. And all you have to do is tell them that you have this. But in order to do that, you need to know what their number one most pressing problem is, which is going to be to address the number one problem of their own target client. So these are very strategic, and they don't just happen with a click of your fingers, a snap of your fingers. It has to take planning and strategy and forethought, but they work all the time. Trend reports, color books, if they're in design, as I said, all sorts of competitive white papers, anything at all that you can give them that has value. All right. Next and last that I have on my list is engage their executive assistant or team. Everybody knows that, the influencer, the true influencer of the influencer is the person who is close to them and who's helping them. So it's their EA or through their team. Now, buying teams, according to latest research, are getting larger and larger. And as the size of the buy gets bigger, the team also gets larger. So when you get to know, let's say, and the average buying size now team is 7 people in a corporation. So if you get to know one person and you strike out, you can pursue the other one and the other one and the other one. And in fact, the more of them that you can contact, they will be talking about you, and you will no longer become a strange phenomenon, and you can send them your content about the topic of interest and or the thing of value, or that glue bottle, whatever is your message to them. And you can do it to multiple members of that team, who will then have more comfort level and safety factor of giving you a meeting. Because the number one thing when I worked in corporate is people don't have time. So they're afraid that you're going to waste their time. And if they haven't done the pre-work to figure out whether you're a viable candidate to work for them or not, and if they don't have an imminent, like kitchen's on fire kind of need for you, they're not going to want to spend their time. So you have to make it worth their time, either through really creatively getting their attention and piquing their interest, because remember, everybody wants to be entertained and everybody wants value. So either you're going to promise to make them look good, promise to entertain them, And, to an extent, promising to feed them no longer really is that relevant. But if it works in combination with all the other stuff, great. So those are some of the creative, out of the box ways that you can get into corporations and corporate buyers and try to get into the same rooms and try to introduce your topics to them. So first, remember, give, Gary Vaynerchuk, give, and then ask. So everything that I'm telling you is around creativity, out of the box thinking, and being standout and being different, being noticed, being visible, and then you are giving them some sort of value. I hope that helps. And I look forward to next week when possibly I'll be talking more about AI. All the best.